Welcome to the Three Mouseketeers, the sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. I'm Jared.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Emily.
We're going to be talking about Journey into the Imagination with Figment and the various number of instances that has been around. But first, let's get into some trivia. You guys ready to play?
Yep.
All right. What secret room can you find at Journey into the Imagination with Figment? Is it A, a secret vending machine room, B, a secret art room, C, secret bathrooms, or D, secret workers break room?
I think I know.
You think you know, okay?
I do think I know.
Well, let's get Emily's opinion. Emily, what do you think first?
This one's hard. I mean, I've been on the ride several times, but I can't say that I really know this. Is it something that you obviously see, or is it like a hidden sort of situation?
No, it's secret.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So would I even notice without knowing a behind the scenes sort of
If it's
thing?
what I'm thinking it is, it's not actually inside the ride. It's on the outside of the ride.
It's in the building that the ride is in.
Okay, so what was option A?
Okay, let me run through these one more time.
Okay.
A is a secret vending machine room. B, secret art room. C, secret bathrooms. Or D, secret workers break room.
I'm going to go with a secret art room.
Okay. Amanda, what do you think?
I believe that is incorrect. And I believe it's something that I'm going to start utilizing whenever we are on our trips, because it's a secret bathroom that's behind the building where people don't know it is. So it doesn't get used very often. So it's usually pretty clean. That's what I'm going to go with.
That is correct.
Okay, I think I've been to these bathrooms before, and they smelled like diapers.
Okay.
Because there was absolutely no one there, and it was behind Journey into Imagination, and my husband and I found it, and we were kind of creeped out by the fact that there was literally no one else there, and the whole building smelled like dirty diapers.
Oh, that's part of the Figment ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the second smell after the skunk smell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just didn't notice it.
That's why I didn't guess secret bathrooms, because I was like, surely if it's a Figment bathroom, it's better than dirty diapers.
No,
Well,
that's part of the,
It's
the thing. That's it.
so the secret bathroom is it's not themed or anything, but it does still play the 1983 version of One Little Spark.
Okay, yes. And that is why another reason why we were kind of creeped out.
Because it plays a song?
There was can you imagine? You're at Disney. It's crowded. It's also nighttime, but there's no one else in this building. So you're kind of like, did we go into a third dimension on accident, or what's going on?
You step through the door.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So there's a second, third dimension?
Yeah.
Yep.
What an imagination. All right. Yeah, so why don't we go ahead and get into a history fact then?
All right. For today's history, I wanted to talk about some Walt history. So, did y'all know that even though he technically never went to college, he has 3 college degrees?
Wow. Are they
Okay.
honorary degrees?
Yes, essentially they're honorary degrees, but I wanted to go back a little bit to kind of some of Walt's education and upbringing, because while he was still in high school, he started taking night classes at the Academy of Fine Arts in Chicago. But he dropped out by the age of 16 to join the army. But I think we've talked about this before. As we know, he was turned away because he was too young. So he forged his birth certificate and joined the Red Cross and drove an ambulance for them.
Yeah.
So then he moved back and, he started his career as an artist for the newspaper. And from there, we all kind of know what happened. And he was so well known and had so many accomplishments in arts that he was awarded honorary degrees. So in 1938, he received a Master's of Science from the University of Southern California. And then he received 2 Masters of Arts degrees from Yale and Harvard.
Wow. So he even totally skipped associates, bachelors, and he got 3 master's degrees. That's pretty fancy.
Straight to the masters. They were like, well, he is a master, so.
That's true. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be that smart that I could just, have people give me degrees. Here you go.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily being smart. I think it's knowing people. So I'm automatically out. I know nobody. I know you guys. That's about it.
Yeah, you do.
You know what? Hey,
apparently we're nobody's Em. Thanks. Did you get that?
Well, I can't give him a degree.
Your family.
So.
Yeah. But look, if anybody works at a college that's listening to this right now, I want a master's degree. Go ahead and send me an email. You know how to get in touch.
T3M podcast at gmail.com.
That is it. Thank you very much, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Since you got the mic, why don't you go ahead and give us a tip for the week?
All right. We all know that the airlines are a little bit crazy right now. So my tip this week is if you are going on a cruise, since cruising is coming back and Disney is sailing again on August 9th, if you're planning to go on a cruise, make sure you fly in the day before, because the last thing you want to do is schedule your flight for the day your cruise leaves, and then the cruise ship leaves without you because your flight got delayed. So I would give yourself at least a day in the city ahead of time before you're supposed to leave. And this can also work at the parks too. If you're flying to Disneyland, Disney World, I would not plan anything for the first day you get there, because you never know if you're actually going to be able to really do anything that day. And I'd hate for you to waste your time, a ticket, things like that, money on a possibility of going and then the airline's ruining your day.
Scheduling your favorite dinner on the first day. Yeah. And then
and missing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's a pretty good tip. I am very paranoid even without the airlines being crazy. I'm always super paranoid that I'm going to miss a flight or it's going to be really delayed and it's going to ruin plans. So I usually just kind of use the first day to go to Disney Springs or hang out at the pool or something like that. That's like a more casual, like it doesn't matter if your flight's late because you're not missing anything.
Yeah, that's a very good strategy.
I think so too. See, a couple of years ago, we became annual pass holders. So now since that has happened, I want to spend every second in the park that I can, since I don't have to buy an extra day. So I usually plan something the day we get there, but I may hold off now with, the way the airlines are. Something else I always like to do is if there's like a party or an after hours event going on, doing that the night we got there. And then that way you're not using a whole ticket that day. But I may sit that out this time too.
Yeah, those after hours tickets are pretty expensive. So to have to miss that because of a delayed flight would be sad.
Yes, it would.
Yeah. I mean, I've known people that have flown very recently that were delayed at least by 3 hours, probably even a little bit more. So.
Yeah, and I think this is especially good for cruises, like you said, Amanda, because if you're not on that boat,
it's gone.
You missed your whole trip. Your trip is over.
you can actually get on the ship if it's already left. You just have to fly to whatever port they're going to next.
Yeah, that's awful.
And then you can get on there. But who wants to do that? I mean, you've already
Nobody.
paid to get to where you're supposed to depart initially. So why would you want to pay to get somewhere else to depart?
Yeah.
I mean,
that would be a whole mess. I'd just go home at that point.
I swear I thought you were going to say, oh, yeah, you just take a helicopter.
I thought she was going to say that they would have a boat that would bring you out to the cruise.
It's a rowboat. You'll catch up whenever they're coming back in the dock.
That's really
they'll
what
dock
I imagined.
eventually.
I imagine they put you on one of those little orange lifeboats and row you out there and then lift you up.
There you go.
One of those inflatable rafts and just kick you out to sea.
Yep.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and get into the segment for the week?
Okay, this week's segment is Disney bounding. And if you want to follow along with this week's Disney bounding so you can actually see what I'm talking about, I highly suggest you do that. And you can see the 2 options that I created posted on our social media at T3M podcast. So today I chose Daisy Duck, and I've been wanting to do Daisy Duck Disney bounding for forever, and I don't know why I haven't, but I love her colors and everything. It's kind of right up my alley, so I went with Daisy Duck today. So for option A, I did a more dressy, girly, kind of a little bit of a fancier outfit. So I picked a white dress, and I really liked this dress for Daisy Duck specifically because the bottom has like a ruffle. There's a word. It's a scalloped. Yes.
Yeah.
A scallop detail. And if you actually look at the picture of Daisy Duck, like it looks like her little feathers. So I thought that was perfect. And then since Daisy wears a purple shirt, I picked a purple blazer since I was going with a little more dressy look for this. And some really cute pink shoes that have a bow on them, and I like the bow detail to kind of match the bow detail in Daisy's hair. And I also, of course, picked a bow for your hair. And it's kind of a bow that, Daisy wears her bow on top of her head. I would probably not do that. I'd probably wear it on the back of my head in like a half-up ponytail. But
on top of your head would be really cute. I mean, you're Disney bounding,
To each his own. I might not do that, but
I probably wouldn't do that with this particular bow.
No.
But
you could do it though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do that.
I'd have to wear it in my beard.
Yeah.
You've done that before.
You have done that before. Mm-hmm. We've been there, unfortunately. I'm just kidding. It was great. You rocked it.
I'm sad now.
No, I loved it. I was just kidding. Okay, so I picked a Daisy Duck purse. It's pretty simple. It's a pink purse, and it's kind of hard to see in the picture, but it has Daisy Duck doing like a super sassy arms crossed pose on it. Like she's kind of grumpy that she didn't get her way. And then I found some Daisy Duck earrings. I really like these. They're actually from Bauble Bar, and I think I might go buy them, honestly. They're really cute. They're
so sparkly.
I know. And they have Daisy Duck's face, and she has this really cute, sparkly pink bow. I like them. So then I picked a necklace that has daisies on it, which is kind of perfect for Daisy Duck. And to finish the look off, I just picked a simple turquoise bracelet, because if you look at her, she is wearing a turquoise bracelet as well. So I thought that went perfectly. So then for option B, this is my more like park attire, summer, it's warm outside look. So I picked some white shorts and then a purple top that kind of has puff sleeves. And I liked this top because it has daisies on it. So I went with the whole daisy theme here, subtly, but still. And then I picked a pink bucket hat because you're at the park all day and it's hot and you don't want to get sunburned. And bucket hats are in style. So I went with a pink bucket hat and some pink Vans. And then for accessories, I picked some turquoise bangle bracelets and a Daisy Duck locket that just has her face on it. And then some pearl earrings that have a pink bow. And some heart sunglasses because I swear I couldn't find, well, I didn't pick a picture that has this, but I have seen pictures of Daisy Duck where she is wearing heart sunglasses. So I thought this was a perfect accessory for that. And to finish it off, I found a Daisy Duck plush crossbody. And this is a Tokyo Disney crossbody, but you can find them on eBay. And I really love them. They have them for like every character and they're so cute. And yeah, that's it. Option A and option B.
Both are super cute, like always.
Thank you.
Agreed. So which one do you like more, Amanda?
Well, I personally think I would choose option A. I absolutely love the detail on the dress. The same thing that Emily said. I love the scallop detail on it. It reminds me of Daisy Duck, and it, even if you just wore that with like purple accessories, I think you could get by with it being Daisy. Just, it's super cute and it reminds me of Daisy. And the dress alone makes it why I chose that one over the other one. I like all of the accessories. The jacket, I think, would be a little warm at the park.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I'd necessarily wear that, but it would be perfect if you're going to the park. You could just wear the dress. And then if you had like lunch or brunch at California Grill or something, then you could wear the jacket. So, or Topolino's Terrace, you could have it there. So I think it has a place at Disney. It just may not necessarily be in the park.
Right.
I do really like the sunglasses in B. I think those are super cute. And the plush purse. The top for me would probably not be the best on me. So that's probably why I would not choose that one. What about you, Jared? Which, are you going to wear the shirt or the dress?
We already know the answer to this. Jared always picks the dress.
Not always. There was once he did not choose the dress.
Okay, look. I like...
Say yes to the dress, Jared.
Okay, I do really like A. As a whole, I think for Disney bounding, I definitely think it fits Daisy better. I think it gives you like a more understanding of who you're bounding as, for sure. But honestly, I like B better. It just seems a little bit more casual, more warm weather appropriate. And let's be honest, most of the time it's going to be warm if you're in Disney. I do really like the heart sunglasses because I know exactly what you're talking about, Emily. She does wear heart sunglasses and it seems like that just fits her personality really well. I don't necessarily like the crossbody as much as the purse from A, so I would probably switch those out. But other than that, I think, yeah, I think I would go with B.
Surprised.
Okay. Yeah, I lean more towards B as well. Just because it screams like park attire to me. Especially with like the bucket hat and the sunglasses. Like I feel like you look like a tourist, but a tourist that's doing Disney right.
Yeah, see, I don't think I would ever wear a bucket hat.
Oh, I love them. I'm so happy. I don't own one, but they're coming back in style and it's great.
Did you not wear them in the 90s?
I don't think I did.
Well, I did.
I did.
Emily, you were like 2 in the 90s, so
I still have a Winnie the Pooh bucket hat that I wore then.
I think I remember that hat.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you still have that hat.
It's somewhere in my mom's closet. I've seen it recently.
So you don't have it. Your mother has it.
Yeah, but still, It's around.
It's somewhere. It's still in the family. It's a family heirloom at this point.
It is. It doesn't fit on my big old head anymore, so gotta save it for my kids.
I'm sure, Amanda, your daughter could probably wear it at this point. Because
Probably.
I think my
probably
daughter
more my
probably. Yeah, maybe. I think my daughter wore it a couple times too. I could be wrong, but I'm
Probably.
pretty sure she did. Well, very good job as always, Em. Let's go ahead and get into the main topic. We're going to be talking about Journey into Imagination with Figment. And there are some lyrics to the original song from 1983, One Little Spark. And it goes like this: 2 tiny wings, eyes big and yellow, horns of a steer, but a lovable fellow. From head to tail, he's royal purple pigment. And there, voila, you've got a figment. These are some ridiculous lyrics for a song that I absolutely love. So this is from...
I think it's pretty cute.
It is cute. It's a good introduction to Figment. I mean, obviously, the original 1983 song, whenever you first enter into the original Journey into Imagination, it had Dreamfinder on the big helicopter, and then he introduced Figment, and then, it's obviously everybody absolutely loves Figment for obvious reasons. But yeah, I thought it was a very good introduction. And if you do want to go after you listen to the podcast and actually watch an original VHS YouTube of the 1983 ride, you can do that. It is on YouTube. Actually,
Ooh, that's fun.
there's ride-throughs on all of the versions of this ride.
That's cool.
So it's very
Yeah.
easy to compare the three.
I don't recommend it though, unless you want to be singing the song the rest of the day.
Oh, it is the best song. I love it. I've been singing it in my head all day long.
Why didn't you sing it then? Why did you say it?
Because I am not a singer, so nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some of the facts from the 1983 iteration of this ride. So it opened in March of 1983, and it was originally called Journey into Imagination. It featured Figment and Dreamfinder, and they were actually planned for a section of Disneyland in 1976 called Discovery Bay, but that portion of the park was never built, so they were never included into that portion.
Interesting. I did not know that.
So I thought that was very interesting, because I thought it was just something that they dreamed up for Epcot, for Future World, and were like, yeah, okay, this is it. But no, they were actually imagined in, or I guess before 1976. I'm not exactly sure when, but they were supposed to be going into Discovery Bay. For that portion, it was going to be a little bit different. So instead of Dreamfinder, we had Professor Marvel's Gallery of Illusion, and you would have an audio animatronic Professor Marvel, and he would display all different types of oddities, and he would include like a collection of dragons. So it wouldn't have just been one dragon. It would have been multiple.
This is if it would have been at Disneyland.
Yes, at Discovery Bay. Yes, this is the original Imagineering
idea
of the characters. Yes,
gotcha. Okay.
So, and then obviously the Imagineers behind the idea is Tony Baxter and Steve Kirk. They created the Figment and Dreamfinder, who are supposed to be the figureheads of Epcot,
which is pretty cool. And I also find it really cool that Figment and Dreamfinder used to be the only meet and greets that you could find at Epcot.
I really wish that they would bring the meet and greet back for Dreamfinder and Figment.
I wonder why they took it away. I feel like a lot of people would want that meet and greet.
Well, I think they took it away when they switched from the original version to the second iteration, which didn't include Dreamfinder or Figment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the second iteration did have Figment a little bit, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So do you guys know why Figment is purple?
Yes, I do.
Do you? Emily, what
I
about
do
you?
not. Mm-mm.
Okay, Amanda, why?
Because Kodak is the company that originally sponsored that building, and it was actually the Kodak building previously. And they originally wanted Figment to be green, but Fujifilm's is green, and so that's Kodak's competitor. So they had to come up with a different color that could be a dragon that didn't have a competitor for Fuji or for Kodak.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
that's pretty interesting in itself. So, I mean, basically it's saying that Kodak had a small bit of creativity rights whenever it came to the character of Figment.
Yeah.
I also find it interesting that Figment and Dreamfinder are the first, I guess, characters at the Disney park that were not already Disney characters.
Yeah, they were actually designed specifically for a park.
Right.
I don't know if they're the actual first, but I know that they're one of.
I thought they were the first for Disney parks.
I'm not
But
sure.
maybe not.
From what I've seen one of. So I don't necessarily want to say that they were definitely the first because I don't know exactly. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's talk about the song a little bit. One Little Spark. Take a wild guess as to who wrote this song.
The Sherman Brothers.
The Sherman Brothers, indeed, of course. Yeah, so the Sherman Brothers worked with Walt so much on so many different projects. It's not surprising that they had a hand in this song.
Yeah, it seems like they were in almost every song, it feels like,
It
for
really
Disney
does.
around that time.
Yeah, it really does. Have you guys watched a ride through of the original version of this ride?
No, I did not. I was surprised when you said that there was actually video of that because that was before cell phones and, it's harder to get that to where you can see it now
Yeah.
online.
I have actually watched it. It's been a while, like a couple years, but I've watched it before. And just on a side note, there's actually a lot of rides from like the 90s and like a while back that are on YouTube that are non-existent rides anymore. And I mean, it's obviously really bad quality. They recorded it on like a video camera, but
Yeah.
it's
Probably
pretty
one
cool.
of those big, huge video cameras you had to sit on
Yeah.
your shoulder.
Yeah.
Counted as
It's
an
pretty
extra
cool
passenger.
though.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it exists. So definitely, if you're interested, if you never rode the ride or if you don't remember it, maybe you rode it whenever you were younger and just don't remember, definitely go and check it out. It's at least worth the time to do that. So
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go watch it because I don't remember this ride. I know you loved it the first time, and I don't have a memory of it at all.
yeah, I mean, this has been one of my favorites from childhood. So I absolutely love this ride. One of the things that I did want to talk about is the original ride took kind of a weird, wild path, like midway through. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride because it kind of gets like H.P. Lovecraft in the middle and it's very weird. So, like I said, go watch the YouTube video. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like kind of all of a sudden, but also kind of not. Like it kind of goes into almost like a horror haunted house type feel for a little bit. It really, like, whenever I'm talking about whenever Mr. Toad Wild Ride goes into hell all of a sudden, and then it has that same feeling to it for a little bit.
Maybe that's why they took it out of the park. Maybe it was scaring the little children.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride's still there.
That
No,
is true.
they actually took it out of the park because the sponsorship stopped with Kodak.
Interesting.
So, Figment was actually taken out of the ride visually in 1999 and was put back in 2002 whenever we get the journey into Imagination with Figment. That would be the third iteration of this ride. One little spark was taken out of the ride and put back in along the same time frame that Figment was taken out and put back in.
Did we ever mention who played Figment in Dreamfinder?
No, we did not. Do you have that?
Figment was played by Billy Barty.
Okay.
But the one I found really interesting was Dreamfinder was played by Chuck McCann. And he was actually in a lot of other shows and did a lot of voiceovers for other cartoons that were Disney. So he did stuff for Darkwing Duck and Gummy Bears and DuckTales. There's just so many things that he was in that I found it very interesting that he was kind of all over the place. And he was also Dreamfinder.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't take the time to look up that, so I'm glad you had that on hand. Funny thing about this is, did you guys know that there was supposed to be a TV show called Dreamfinders?
No.
No, I did not.
So Dreamfinders was an unmade television show that was supposed to be part of the first launch of the Disney Channel. And it was going to be based obviously on the kind of loosely based on the characters from the attraction, but mostly it was going to revolve around Dreamfinder, known as Old Eli, and he was going to take children adventurers into the realms of imagination, but they had to avoid the villain, which was fear, and other villains within the dark realm called bewilderness. So
that sounds kind of crazy.
It sounds pretty interesting, and I kind of want to see this made.
Right?
There were 3 scripts that were completed. They had other episodes that were supposed to be introduced, but they only completed 3 scripts. They never started shooting anything. But the fun thing is, just like Disney typically does, they actually had some advertisements made for the show. And I did pull this up. I know that the listeners won't be able to see it, but if you check our social media at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms, I'm going to post this and you guys can see it there. So if you just want to pause and go check that out, do it and then come right back. So this is one of the adverts for the show. So
it's very cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. It has Dreamfinder and it has Figment on the front. And yeah, I think that it would be pretty interesting to see this, at least in some small short capacity, like a partial of an episode. That would be really fun.
Right.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of shorts on Disney Plus now. I feel like they could do this and it'd probably be pretty popular.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I think that it would be wildly popular.
That would be really cool if they actually brought this, now that they're trying to make so many unique Disney Plus shows. If they actually did a show on this, that would be really cool.
Maybe we should pitch it.
Maybe so. Why did they decide not to make it? Do you know?
So this was right around the time when Michael Eisner was actually coming in as the head of Disney Studios. And it was just one of those things that just got shut down after new management took over pretty much. So one of the only things that I've seen really that Michael Eisner has done that I don't necessarily agree with, because this would just have been an amazing show. So the second iteration of this ride was Journey into Your Imagination. They made sure to put the your in between into imagination. And that was mostly because Kodak sponsorship ended. And so they did a redo of the ride. It's kind of odd, I think. It's a little dull, in my opinion. I did go through the YouTube and watch the ride through of the second iteration, and I don't know. There's something missing. I don't know if it's because I know what it is now and what it was originally, but I I think that most people agree with me. The second iteration just was not great.
I mean, you can tell that this is probably one of the first instances of fan backlash
Yeah.
and Disney backtracking and go, oh, wait, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, people were really, really mad about this and still are to this day. Like, there are
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
passionate people out there about this subject.
There are people who still want the original version to come back.
I mean, that would be nice.
It would be nice. I mean, we'll get into my opinion a little bit later, but yeah, it would be nice to see the original. Yeah, so this ride actually opened on October 1st, 1999, and it only lasted a little over 2 years. It closed October 8th, 2001.
Fan backlash.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
like I said,
it
it was
just
it was a little boring.
Yeah. It took Disney a couple of years to probably redo the show once they realized the error of their ways.
Yeah.
And it took them that long to redo it. So that's why it was there for 2 years.
I think one of the things, though, that needs to be mentioned, at least whenever it comes to this time frame, is that this version lived right next door to Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. And I think that really overshadowed this ride during that time frame. And I think they wanted it to overshadow that ride.
Why do you think they wanted it to overshadow it?
Because Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was very popular at that time, and it was a new attraction that they had put in. So, I mean, I think they just wanted people to go see the new thing, right? It was the 4D experience and all that. So they spent a lot of money to get Honey, I Shrunk the Audience in there.
Yeah. But I think if they're both good attractions, that it'll pull a whole bunch of people to that area.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know why you would want one of your rides to not be good.
I don't know.
That doesn't seem to make sense. Plus, you
I
like
don't necessarily
pulling people away.
So I don't
and
necessarily
spread 'em out.
think that they did it on purpose. Like say, oh no, just make this terrible ride and everybody will go here. I don't think it was purposeful like that. But I think that it was just kind of like a kind of out of sight, out of mind. Like, okay, we need to change this because the sponsorship ends and, you know, just do what we can to make it a ride that might be somewhat interesting, that still is around the same theme, that we're not going to have to spend a lot of money to reimagine it. So I just think it was kind of lost in the weeds, if that makes sense. One thing that I did want to bring up is Figment is in this ride during this time frame from the 99 to 2001, but it's at the very end and he's only making an appearance as a voiceover.
I was going to say, I didn't think he was in that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, he wasn't visually in it. But yeah, so he was in it, but it was in a very small capacity and it was only voiceover. Dreamfinder not in it at all.
Which is sad.
Yeah, I really like Dreamfinder. And the funny thing is I was just at Comic Palooza not long ago, and there was somebody dressed up as Dreamfinder with Figment.
Really?
I saw the picture you sent me of that, and I thought that was so cool.
It was very
idea.
surprising. Yeah, it blew my mind. I didn't even think that anybody was even thinking about it that weekend. But yeah, very cool to see that. I was really excited. Something that really surprises me on this iteration is that it doesn't seem very imaginative. And
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, since it's a ride about imagination.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I think it feels very boring. Just because the imagination aspect, it's there a little bit, but it's not like it was or is now.
Yeah. Do we even know who the Imagineers were that did this?
I'm not sure. For the two after the first, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was just curious.
I do want to say that one thing that I do like about this iteration is that it brings in Dr. Nigel Channing for the first time. And if you're familiar with the ride now, you know that Dr. Channing is still a part of the ride. And he is played by Eric Idle, who, for most people, if you don't know the name, he was in Monty Python. He was in the movie Casper. He's been in a lot of stuff. He primarily thinks of himself as a writer rather than an actor, but he has been in several things. So I do like that we get Dr. Channing in the second instance of this ride.
So I like how you brought up Eric Idle and him being in the show, this attraction, because in a series of tweets, he said he didn't even remember being in this.
That's hilarious.
It is.
Oh, gosh.
And he said he never wrote it. So he's never seen his work on it, and he couldn't even remember that he was in it.
Yeah. I mean, really, in all honesty, knowing what I know about him, it doesn't surprise me.
Apparently, some fans had talked to him about it, and they were very upset that he didn't remember being in.
Really?
Yeah.
Then they're not really fans because he's...
So it was a big deal, apparently.
Yeah. Like I said, he doesn't think of himself primarily as an actor. He thinks of himself as a writer. So I'm not very surprised.
Yeah.
I don't think he really watches anything that he's been in acting wise.
Yeah, maybe not. But I mean, if you know Disney fans, I mean,
no, I'm aware of Disney
some of them
fans.
can be a little hardcore, you know, and so they expect you to remember everything like they do, and he did not.
Yeah, not surprised. In all honesty, I'm really not surprised.
I just found that really interesting.
I will go out on a limb and say that he is probably already forgotten again.
Probably so.
But I guess that kind of gets us into the third and current iteration of this ride, and that is Journey into Imagination with Figment. They specifically put with Figment back in there because obviously they brought Figment back. So they wanted to let everybody know, hey, Figment is back. Stop emailing us.
Yes. And Figment's a big deal, so they wanted to make sure he was the star of the show.
Yeah. It just surprises me that he was designed as a figurehead of the park, and then they got away from him completely.
Yeah, that was a poor decision.
It really
Super
was.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they still didn't bring Dreamfinder back, and he was too.
I know. But I think Figment was a little more so.
He's more lovable and snuggly, and
Exactly. You can sell the Figment plushes, no problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I do wish that they would have brought Dreamfinder back, but, you know, at least bringing Figment back, that's the least
Think
they
about
could do.
all the cute little kids that could have dressed up as Dreamfinder for Halloween. I mean, that would have been adorable.
Yeah, it would have. Or the dads that could have dressed up as Dreamfinder with their baby Figment.
That'd be cute.
It'd be so cute.
I mean,
They can still do that.
They can still do it, yeah.
They can, but they could have, I'm just saying, they could have sold, I think the Dreamfinder stuff would have sold well too, is what I was getting at.
I think so. I think that for sure if Dreamfinder came back in some form or fashion, I think that you could probably sell the merchandise, no problem.
Yeah.
More so than you could like Dr. Channing. You can't sell merch for Dr. Channing. I mean, that makes no sense. So, okay. So the third iteration of this ride opened June 2nd, 2002. So it wasn't closed for very long for the redesign.
Not quite a year.
And one of the things that I really like about the redesign and the hallway going into where you actually get into the cars is that you have Professor Wayne Selinsky, played by Rick Moranis from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Professor Philip Brainerd, which was played by Robin Williams from Flubber. So I'm really happy that Robin Williams is in the park somewhere.
Yeah.
If you've listened to any episodes of this show, you know that I am a huge fan of Robin Williams. So,
what?
Yeah, imagine that, right? One of my favorite people of all time. So really happy to still see him in the park. And that's why I think that if they were ever to take that away, I would be furious.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they won't, that it would still have a place, even if they redesigned the ride. Hopefully that would still be there.
Yeah.
In some fashion.
The tour is led by Dr. Nigel Channing, again, Eric Idle, who kept his role from Journey into Your Imagination. And again, YouTube videos, they're all over the place for the current ride now. I'm sure somebody probably posted one yesterday. So go check it out if you haven't been on the ride, or you haven't been on it in a little while and you kind of want a refresher. Go and check it out. It's definitely one of my favorite rides. And the one thing that I like about this ride and the reimagination that they did for the third version of it is that it just seems a little bit more whimsical and like childlike. And that's kind of what the ride was supposed to be about. Is supposed to be about the child's sense of wonder and imagination. And I don't think we really got that completely until we got to this third version.
I still think, I mean, I do agree with you, but I still think that there's more that they could do. I think they could make it where it was almost like an adventure with Figment and still keep it educational, but have more of an imaginative ride with Figment.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, even since this ride opened, there's so much new technology and really cool things that they could do with this to make it just like over the top.
Right.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about specifically. Like, do you think that there could ever be a fourth version of this ride where it's brought a little bit more into today's technology?
I think there needs to be. I mean, it's almost 20 years old now, and technology has come a long way since this iteration opened. And I think with the way the park is evolving, that there is a need to evolve this ride as well. I definitely don't take Figment out.
Yeah.
I think maybe you should bring Dreamfinder back and have it more of an imagination ride instead of it feels more educational, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I would worry about is that they would just do away with this ride altogether in lieu of like something that's like IP and more attention grabbing for people who are first time park goers. But I know that they would have a lot of backlash. So I do hope that in the future they will update this ride and reimagine it, but still keep the same theme.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the things that they did between the second version and the third version, they kept some of the certain specifics. Like there's the box with the butterfly in it. That one was in the second version and the third version. The upside down house, that's in both of those versions. So there's some likeness. They didn't do just a complete tear down and rebuild. So right. With that being said, I mean, that makes it a little older than 20 years because, I mean, it's probably about 23 at this point almost.
Yeah, and to me it feels older. I mean, I like the ride and I have fun every time I go on it. I think it makes me happy, but
It
it
definitely gets a
feels
song stuck in
old.
your head
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
all
But
day.
I smile the whole time I'm on it, even though it's kind of cheesy and a little outdated, but it's fun.
Yeah. I think they could draw more people to that area. There is definitely a huge fan base for Figment, but updating it, making it a little bit more relevant to today with keeping some of the same elements of what made the ride so lovable to begin with would be huge, and it would bring more people to that area, which is kind
Yeah.
of a dead area right now.
It definitely is. And I also think it's still important to have more educational rides, especially in a park like Epcot that was supposed to be the educational park.
Right. And I think you can do that and still make it more fun.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like the imagination theme. I don't want them to change the theme of the ride. I just want them to change or update it. Yeah. Even completely like I don't want them to update like how they did the last update where they still kept things. I want them to completely redo it, but with the same theme.
Yeah. Like, could they turn it into Big Hero 6? Most definitely.
I hope they don't.
Should they? No.
Would I hate them to do that?
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, Figment is IP too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, technically.
Yeah, technically
so maybe they should have a show with Figment, and then he'll be big news. And
look,
that's true. I love whenever they base shows off of rides, and then the show becomes popular.
Yeah.
Look, this is just going back to we need to pitch to Disney Plus the Dreamfinders TV show and bring it back. And then they're going to be like, no, I'm not an actor.
What? You have said otherwise numerous times.
So then you guys would agree that I am an actor then?
No, but
but you think you are.
Dang it, I thought I had you.
No.
Okay. Well, I think that if they did bring Dreamfinders to Disney Plus, then they would definitely have to update the ride and people would go. People would flock to it.
Yeah.
Because
I think they need that over there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that kids right now are only going whenever their parents bring them. I could be wrong, but it's essentially a walk-on whenever you go.
Yeah.
Anytime you go.
Well, they have that there, and the other part of the building where they used to have the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is now just Mickey shorts.
Yeah.
It's stuff that you can see on Disney Plus already.
Right.
So it's kind of a lost pavilion right now, and it really needs a refresh.
It really does. So I guess one of the things that I'm worried about if they were to ever bring back Dreamfinder is that we would lose kind of the theme of being a lab, and Dr. Channing would go away, and that would also mean that Professor Solinsky and Professor Brainerd would be gone too. So then Robin Williams is completely out of the park, and I don't want that. So
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think there's a way to incorporate all of them, where maybe Dreamfinder is actually a figment of imagination too. I think there's a way to bring him back and keep it kind of the same.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there is a way around that, but that's one of the things that I would be worried about, though. I don't think Disney would specifically think about that. Like, I think they would, if they were to bring back Dreamfinder for the ride, I think that they would kind of go back to the original version of what the ride was. So,
I don't think so.
And that wouldn't include the lab.
Just because Disney is all about details, and I think that this iteration of the ride has a cult following too, along with the first version. So you don't want to make the new version fans upset either. So you have to do it in a way that makes everybody happy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you would get like small nods to certain aspects, but to have a big poster of Robin Williams in the hallway whenever you're walking in, I think it would be gone. Honestly.
I don't know.
I would hope that I'd be wrong, and I don't know if we'll ever find out if I would be wrong or right, but that's just the feeling that I would have. And I don't want that because I love Robin Williams.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you guys is, okay, so we have the sight lab, we have the sound lab, and you guys are fully aware that there's the smell lab.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a taste or a touch lab because the ride is cut short after the smell lab goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they have to.
Yeah.
That's a necessary thing.
We can, always have the Willy Wonka licking wall,
We could do that. That would be disgusting.
Yes,
but it is possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you could always do like the never-ending gobstopper.
Oh, yeah. You'd have to pay for it, though, so that's probably a bad idea.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just fun to think of all the weird things that they could do with a touch and a taste lab. I don't think that they would ever do a taste lab just because.
Yeah. I mean, they could do a taste lab as like part of the gift shop, like not in the ride, but it could kind of be an extension.
Okay.
They could give you the Beverly
gift shop.
Okay.
Yeah, so then
I do like Amanda's idea of just giving people
that I don't think so. But then they could choose to participate in the taste lab.
Yeah.
That would be a perfect place for the Coca-Cola store, though, that does the taste testing.
That's true.
That would have been perfect because then you could have tasted all the different. Oh man, that's a lost opportunity there.
I do think so too. And like I'm saying, I mean, I think there's a lot of ideas that we could come up with for a touch and taste lab. I mean, obviously you can do like the fur rugs and, all the different textures for the touch lab. I mean, it would be ridiculous.
But I think they kind of had that before. It's not open anymore, but used to whenever you got off the ride, they had that whole play area there.
Right.
So I think, obviously not the taste part, but the touching part, you did have whenever you got off the ride.
To some degree. And now it's primarily a meet and greet for Wreck-It Ralph and Princess Vanellope. And Stitch was not over there.
Nope.
It was just
two.
It was just the Wreck-It Ralph and Princess Vanellope. So which is, just kind of off the beaten path, but surprisingly long line.
Yeah, and then upstairs there they have the DVC lounge, so the Vacation Club, which is kind of nice.
I think if anything needs to be reimagined right now, it's definitely that area.
Yeah, me too.
There's so much that they can do. There's so much wasted space there. The equipment there, even though they have a little bit of it, is just old and outdated, and they definitely need to do something for that area. Even if they keep the ride the way it is, they need to do something with that area.
I think changing the ride just a little bit would bring a lot of people to that area. And then they need to put something new in where the movies are and have some other 4D type show there, because that holds a lot of people. But whenever you're just playing Mickey shorts, you don't have a whole bunch of people going in there.
Right. It's mostly just to sit down and relax for a little bit.
Or take a nap.
Yeah.
But there's so much that they could do. They just need to use a little imagination.
I don't know if they can do that though. It's Disney. Are they imaginative? I don't know.
Yeah, it couldn't be. Not Disney.
Just stick some IP in there. It's fine.
Yeah. Like I said, Big Hero 6 all day long.
There you go. That would kind of be a cool, actually, in that building, not on the Figment side, but in that room, if they could do that to where it felt like you were flying or whatever, along with Big Hero, I think that would be really cool.
That would be really cool. I think that it would definitely take a lot of money to do something like that.
Because it was already built as a 3D or a 4D theater.
Yeah.
So I think it could be, it wouldn't necessarily have to be that expensive.
I mean, if you're talking about like a flying aspect, I think it probably would. But there's definitely some aspects of Big Hero 6 that you could make into the 4D space.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it used to be Jimmy Neutron at Universal, and now I think it's the Despicable Me ride over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking like that, but with Big Hero in that building. I think that is a possibility.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would be all for Big Hero 6 getting into the park at somewhere.
I think that one would actually be really cool. And it fits too.
Yeah, it definitely fits. So kind of talking about Big Hero 6, I know we kind of got off a tangent real quick, but did you guys know that that movie was, the city that they're in is supposed to be Tokyo and San Francisco mixed together?
Yeah, San Fran, Tokyo.
Yeah. God, that is the name of it, isn't it? I'm dumb.
I've never seen Big Hero 6. So.
What?
I might cut this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You call yourself a Disney fan. Go watch the movie.
I might eventually.
It's so cute. It's good. You should go watch it.
One thing that I have heard a couple people talking about is some people want to just reimagine the ride completely. And if they were to put IP into that particular ride, that particular pavilion, they were talking about doing it for Inside Out. How would you guys feel about that?
I've heard of that. I'm not a fan. I don't think they should do that.
They would have put Inside Out in the ride? Make it an Inside Out ride?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I like that either. Why do they want that? What's the idea?
I think just because people love Inside Out. I mean, rightfully so. It's a great movie.
It is, but
Just IP.
Yeah.
I feel like there's other places you could do that. I mean, I do think that there is a place in that, not necessarily that building, but that area, just because it is more of a learning type area. They used to have like Body Wars and all those other things like that in that area. So I feel like it could fit because you talking about your emotions and stuff. So I think there could be a place, but I don't think that is the right place.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you could definitely have Inside Out somewhere in the park. But I don't want to see Figment leave.
No,
Mm-mm.
I don't think so either. I think Figment needs to stay for sure.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, I'm more up in arms about Figment being reimagined than I would be for like Splash Mountain.
What?
Not me, but
Mm-hmm. I
that's
said it.
okay. To each his own.
Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for this episode and this ride in particular. We've covered the 3 versions of the ride, and I think we're all in agreement that Figment needs to stay. We would love to see Dreamfinder come back, and we definitely want a Dreamfinder show on Disney Plus. So let's start the petition. We always talk about doing petitions, and we never do. Let's actually start this one, because this one is something that I'm really excited about. Okay, well, I guess let us know what your favorite part about this ride is, or, if you really missed the first version, or even if you loved the second version of this ride, let us know. You can do that by contacting us on social media at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms. But let's go ahead and get into some mousekeeping. We do want to promote our YouTube channel. You can find that at bit.ly/T3M YouTube. That's all lowercase. We're going to be doing some more live streams coming up. So we'll post it on social media about our times. We do every other Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, so come and hang out with us. You can actually interact with us on the stream by leaving us either Facebook comments or YouTube comments, and we'll respond to you during the show.
I'd love to plan your next magical getaway, whether you're looking for a Disney vacation, Universal vacation, all-inclusive resort, international destination, or a cruise. I'm here to help. Contact me when you're ready for your free, no obligation quote, and don't forget that my services are complimentary. You can find me on Facebook at Amanda.Hollis, Capture the Magic Vacations, and you can find my contact information in the show notes.
Join us for our next episode releasing Thursday, the 12th of August. Be sure you're subscribed to the show so that you're updated when a new episode comes out every other Thursday.
All right. Thank you all for listening. You can all be a part of the magic by following the show at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms. That's T, the number 3M Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. If you have an announcement that you would like to have on the show or just want to reach out to us, send us an email at t3mpodcast@gmail.com.
Have a zippity-doo-dah day.
See you real soon.
Anyway, let's get into something that I'm talking about.
We all know Jared's the star of the show.